Okay, I couldn't think of a quippy little intro to this, so I'm just going to dive right into it. This is a review for a mini-series that came out. Oh, it's been well over a year now. It came out January of last year on TNT, and I watched it several weeks ago. It's been like before the world went nuts, before all this stuff happened. So it's been a bit, and it was earlier this year, I believe, but it has been, like it was this same year, 2020, but it's been a little while. So my memory might be a little bit fuzzy on the details. But anyway, this is for, I said this is a review for a miniseries already, but I didn't say what the name of it was, but the first picture says what the name of it is. I think I said I Am the Night, I believe is what it's called. And this is based on a true story, or inspired by a true story. There is a lot of dramatized stuff in here, and Chris Pine's character is completely made up just to kind of like move the plot along in the direction that the writers were wanting it to go. But I first found out about this story when I watched a BuzzFeed Unsolved episode, and they had done, I think they'd done 2 episodes on the Black Dahlia murder. And in one of those episodes, they told the story of Fauna Hodel, who is played by the younger woman that it's been showing in the picture. This girl right here, she's actually, Olivia Hussey's daughter, the girl who played in Romeo and Juliet back in the 70s, and also in the It TV miniseries from back in the 90s. Anyway, so she plays Fauna, who is it's a little complicated and twisted, you guys. Her mother's name is Tamar, and Tamar's father was George Hodel, and he was a suspect in the Black Dahlia murders. There's a lot of really compelling circumstantial evidence that certainly makes a strong case for the fact that he may very well have been the Black Dahlia murderer. So anyway, the twisted, convoluted story is that Fauna Hodel, her mother is Tamar. Tamar's father is George. George raped Tamar. She became pregnant with Fauna. Tamar adopted Fauna out, gave her away to a black lady. I cannot remember the lady's name, Jimmy Lee or something like that. Anyway, so Fauna was raised thinking that she was part black. And in fact, this story, this miniseries, is based in large part on her autobiography. I think the title of it was called One Day She'll Darken, because that was what her mother, who she thought was her mother, would say to people when they would wonder, like, why is she so white, And she would say about Fauna, well, one day she'll darken, it's kind of a little bit funny. But anyway, she does not find out until later that, her whole family connections. And that's what the story is mostly about, her trying to find out her background. Once she discovers that she was adopted, and then she starts to trace her lineage, and there's all this drama and mystery and conflict and danger going on as she gets closer to the truth. And George Hodel, her father, but also her grandfather, which is really nasty, he starts to try to draw her in closer and closer, and she's obviously, in peril because of who he is. And it's just a really twisted, crazy story. I think there were 8 episodes in it, and I went reading up on the true story to find out some of the real, the actual things. There was a lot of stuff shown in here that was absolutely real. Some stuff they compressed for time. Sequences of events and how old she was when certain things happened. Her story was just, her life story is just, it's just crazy. I mean, the stuff she went through, the stuff she found out. Her mother's story was even, Anyway, they were just like all like, especially her mother, just all kinds of messed up. It's just so horrible what this guy did to people. And George Hodel, the suspected Black Dahlia murderer, he was a very messed up person and very disturbing. Some of the sequences that are shown in here, like weird stuff like this. It was almost like he would have these weird gatherings in his house, and just really, really unsettling, some of the stuff that they show in here. And like I said, my memory's a little cloudy on certain things, but I still have the initial impression that I was left with when I saw it. And I think what I'm going to do is also link some stuff in the description of some articles that I had read talking about the real characters and the real events. Like I said, some things were highly dramatized. I don't think in real life that Fauna was ever in really physical danger from George Hodel. Unless I'm missing something. I think some of those things were just highly, made more dramatic, obviously, may kind of pull you into the story and the suspense and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I enjoyed watching this. It was actually something that I could sort of pay attention to. Chris Pine plays kind of a down on his luck journalist sort of thing. I think he got in trouble because he had tried to expose George Hodel for something. It might have been for there had been this trial. Tamar Hodel, George's daughter, had said that he had raped her, and they had this trial, and he basically got off. It was just this stuff is public record. It's not huge spoilers or anything. I guess it would be if you had no knowledge at all of it, but so he had written this expose or trying to basically expose the guy for the stuff he had done, and because of George Hodel's deep connections, he's a powerful man. I think he's a doctor. Chris Pine's character, he basically just, he loses his job or whatever. His reputation is ruined, stuff like that. So he's trying to come back, that sort of thing. So he hooks up with Fauna Hodel, and they go on this little investigation thing, and she's trying to find her mother, and she's trying to find this, the story of her history. So there's all these different little interwoven stories that happen throughout the course of like I said, I believe 8 episodes. I can't remember for sure. And I saw it, how did I end up seeing it? I think maybe through the TNT app on my Roku, because I have service with, like a TV cable streaming service. So I was able to access it for that. I'm not sure if there are I was able to access it because of that. Sorry, I'm editing my grammar as I talk. I'm not sure where else it might be available. Honestly, I don't know if it's somewhere on another streaming site or if it's available on DVD. I haven't checked into anything like that. But I personally feel that it's certainly worth checking out if you're interested in true crime type stories. It's pretty well acted. I think everybody, and that guy, George Hodel, the guy who played George Hodel, he's sufficiently creepy. Very just off-putting as far as the person that he's portraying. He does a good job of capturing the guy's weirdness, and that guy was all sorts of messed up. But anyway, it's pretty interesting from start to finish. For me, it was. I was never really bored one moment. I can't remember how long each episode was. Since it was on TNT, maybe each episode was about 40-ish minutes or something like that. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't really have any burning desire to revisit it. But the story itself is certainly pretty interesting. Just this true life stuff alone is very interesting and, just really creepy. And I highly encourage you guys to at least read up a little bit on it. If you're not interested to invest in, you know, actually jumping into the miniseries. I mean, it's a miniseries, it's limited. It's not like it's going to go on forever. You know, you just invest a certain amount of time and a certain amount of episodes, and then it's done. But it was sufficiently creepy, and I've used that word how many times? I don't know. I can't think of any other way to describe how it made me feel. Just really unsettled. The stuff in here, and knowing that a lot of the stuff really happened. So it would be just amazing if they could. I wish they would be able to somehow firmly pin this thing on him, but they have not been able to. I'm not sure how much is true with regard to Hodell's deep connections with the police and the power that he had in order to escape some of the stuff that he escaped, like the whole thing with his daughter. But yeah, I mean, he basically, if he's the Black Dahlia killer, which I think he probably is, I mean, he got away with, oh my goodness. And there were other murders that happened too around that time, or also when he went somewhere else, he left the country. Maybe he went to the Philippines or something like that. I can't recall. I don't remember if it covers this in the story. I don't think it does, but I had read this, that there was a murder or murders similar to the Black Dahlia stuff that happened over there in the place where he relocated to. And it's just like amazing that this guy, just amazing what he got away with. But anyway, yeah, I've rambled on and on, but basically to just sum all this up, I think this was a pretty good true crime type drama, thriller, mystery series sort of thing. And if you like that stuff, that, you know, type of story, then I think you will probably like this. And I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think the acting was great. It felt like it flowed pretty well. So anyway, yeah, can't think of anything else to say about it. Check it out if you're interested, and let me know what you think. And like I said, I'll post some stuff down at the bottom so you guys can read up on how utterly creepy, there's that word again, but there's no other way. There's just no other way to describe this man. Oh my goodness. The true life guy, George Hodell. So, okay. Well, it's late, and talking off the top of my head and not making a whole lot of sense probably. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up while I'm ahead, while I can still talk. And see you guys later. Adios.